Welcome back along to Rugby 18. We continue our little mini-series here looking at all the teams and all the players' ratings in Rugby 18. So last episode we had a look at the Aviva Premiership and all the teams involved in that. We said it would go on alphabetically, which with the Pro 14, the Top 14 coming in later on. Next up will be the national teams or international teams. We'll be having a look at these big squads. This is really a big one as well because there's not too many of these international teams, and some of these ratings, before you even look at the players, are pretty questionable. Now, a lot of feedback from the first video that I did about the Aviva Premiership. Some ratings were just horrific. They were terrible. There were some absolute shockers in there. Too low and a lot too high as well. Now we're going into the world's elite. You got to question what's going to go on here. So let's kick things off. Of course, a lot to go through. We've got 10 teams, but because it is the pre-release version here, we don't have the British and Irish Lions to look at, so it'll just be the 9 international sides to have a look at. And we'll kick things off here with Australia, who are 86 rated. Now, you may say that's alright, but wait till we get to the rest of the international teams. You'll see that some of these ratings of the squads are a bit weird. 86 for Australia, definitely a team that's had a good finish to their international season. Well, their home international season so far. They are 86. Let's have a look at the players they've got. We know that the players they have had, they've moved on. The likes of Tamils and Scouters that have been absolutely terrible. What about the current squad? Let's have a look. Okay, so first thing I really noticed is a bit weird about this Australian team is on the top left side, you've got that little graph that tells you how the rating is kind of broken down. And the fact that their substitutes actually go up higher than their forwards and backs, which tells me that their substitutes are higher rated than their forwards and backs in the starting team. Straight away, a bit weird. But it's no surprise, really, that they have an extremely good front row. But not as good as we've seen from some of Aviva Premiership teams who had a lot of players in the 90s for their props. Alatoa is an 87, Stephen Moore is an 86, and Scotty Co is an 84. That's a very good front row. But when you compare it to what we've seen already, they're kind of a bit lower than most of Aviva Premiership front rows, which is a bit weird as well. We move into the second row as they've given Adam Coleman a 92. I don't know if I can get too behind that one. And Rory Arnold an 85. I mean, that's a bit hard to get into that one. I mean, they should be kind of this guy's rating. Coleman and Arnold, not world elite in the second row. Ned Hannigan, anything but elite in the back row. Michael Hooper only gets an 88. I'm not a huge Hooper fan, but you've got to suck it up and admit he's a decent player as well. 88, you'd probably say he deserves to be better than Adam Coleman, who was a 92. Hannigan is a rubbishy old 77, with Scott Higginbotham, who's not even in the team anymore, is an 82 as well. He's a very good player, 82, and I put him way worse than a Coleman, and the second worst player in that forward pack, when he's really, in truth, one of the best in the forward pack of Australia. So inconsistencies already running rampant in this Australian team. Will Guinea picks up an 85. I mean, he's really been an outstanding player for them in 2017. You'd almost say he's one of the world's best. No, you wouldn't almost say, you would say it without too much doubt in your mind either. He's a great little player, and 85, given the way these other players are getting given huge scores, I think he's a bit low as well. Burnet Foley, 90. He is up there with one of the good, best players. A 90 rating. Comparing to the others, you've got a question as well. Henry Spate picks up an 89. That's a huge rating for Spate. Kurandrani an 85. Why is he at 12 though? Kurandrani is an out-and-out outside centre, I should say. Out-and-out 13. That's what a lot of you have brought up as well in the comments of the video, is that the centres are actually the wrong way around, and so are the props. Now, the thing is, the props don't actually give you a loose head and a tight head, and these guys here don't give you an inside or outside centre as a direct position. But where they've started them on the team, you're absolutely 100% correct. Kurandrani is never a 12, he is always a 13. And Karevi, well, I mean, Karevi plays anywhere in the back line 11 out, doesn't he? So, more suited to a 13 sort of player as well. But Perenara never placed 12, but only 85 as well. Dane Haylett-Petty in 85 too. Good little player. I think that's a fair enough call. Israel Philau only picks up an 87. Wow, now I know there's a lot of World Rugby fans who really rate Israel Philau as a player. There's no question he is one of the greatest going around at the moment. A real finisher, a really good high ball taker, questionable defence, but still when you look through the rest of this and see Burnet Foley's a 90, those front rowers just as good as Israel Philau, you've got to say, how? How on earth does that happen? 87 for Philau. On the way this is going, I think that is a bit, well, that tells you right there. There's no way that Reece Hodge is a better fullback than Israel Philau. That is terrible. Lapiti Tamani a 90 as well. Oh, well, their bench is a bit silly. Nick Phipps is an 87. He's too high rated than Will Guinea. Yeah, there's serious problems here. Sakopi Kepu picks up an 86. Tom Robinson an 87. And Tom Robinson is a nobody, really, of international rugby. Yet he is almost into that top, 10 marks of overall score. That is a bit, well, that is a bit shit. He's a better player than Tatafu Polota now, who is a world-renowned international front rower. Tom Robinson, you're a nobody. There's no way you're better than Polota now. Sifano Valu, 89. That puts him better than Haylett-Petty, Perenara, Karevi, yeah, you'd probably argue, but definitely, that's one mark off being a Burnet Foley. He's better than Will Guinea. No, I don't agree with that. And Sam Carter, an 80, yeah, you'd stretch to put him up to that as well. They are very, very highly rated bench here for the Wallabies. Itanabuli is 77. Powell is 79. That's a decent rating for Powell. Carmichael Hunt, well, you could take 50 off him and you'd probably be pretty accurate. Give him a 28 instead. Rubbish player. Kyle Godwin, 80. It's not too bad. Quake Cooper, 91. Really? He's better than Foley? Maybe Quake Cooper 6 or 8 years ago? Yep, you could agree with that. Hardwick for 79. I mean, this guy's a young kid. 79 is a lot to prove for him. Toru Latu, an 88. Goodness me. Another young one who's not really proved himself. Toby Smith, an 80. Complete opposite. Jake Dempsey, a 79. Tui with an 84. Lachlan Tui, an 84 rating. Marika Korobeti, 77. There's some massive inconsistencies going on here with these players. Rob Horn, 78. He's not even there anymore. Oh, that's it. Of course, 35 players. I got a bit carried away over who was in this team rather than how many I was going through. That whole team is dreadfully inconsistent with the quality of player to the rating. They are massively off the mark. Big concerns about that Australian team, and it got me worried straight away. As soon as I saw the substitute bar go higher than the starting 15, I knew there's something fishy going on about that team. Players in the 90s and the high 80s that really are nothing more than, just break into the team or reserve players shouldn't be that high, even if they are international rugby players. It just makes the Aviva Premiership look massively more unbalanced as well, because they have a lot of players and overall teams that are just as good as the starting 15 of Australia, yet realistically they are just a club side. So big inconsistencies here between club players, international players already, and this Australian team is just a completely big mess. So that's the Wallabies. Great start, isn't it? Let's move on to the next side. Now here's one most people will want to be seeing. It is England. Now we've had a look at a few English players already in the Aviva Premiership, but 90 overall rated, definitely should be at least that, if not more, when you compare the rest of the international sides. One of the best teams in the world. You can't argue with their results, and you can't argue with the quality of player they got at the moment. So let's see the 35 that grace the Red Rose of England. So again, you look at that little top left corner there with the bars giving the ratings of the overall teams, and see that substitutes do a bloody good job once again. Better than the backs and almost as good as the forwards, but overall a pretty consistent team here from England. Of course, we've already talked about Marco Vunipola. I'm not going to talk about him anymore. And Dylan Hartley and Dan Cole. Very good front row. You probably couldn't argue with many of these. A 97, 88, 91. Natolje's a 95. Launchbury a 94. Haskell picks up an 89 as well. Still in the team, although just recently named. He has got the chop. Robshaw's there an 80. Another one. I mean, this is almost a dated England team, isn't it? With Billy Vunipola at number 8 and 91. I mean, Robshaw's the weakness in that side alongside Dan Cole, really. Hartley, the only one not in the 90s in that whole pack. Ben Young's just an 83. Bit harsh on old Youngs there. If he's starting for England, you got to give him a bit more than that. Owen Farrell a 97. We've talked about him. Jack Noel picks up a 92. He's not even 100 speed, which is a bit off, isn't it? Really, you'd expect him to that's his core thing. You'd expect him to absolutely nail that. Into the midfield, Elliot Daly. We've seen him in the Aviva Premiership. 95 rated, he's had to be there. Jonathan Joseph, I expect Anthony Watson. No Anthony Watson at all. So we've got Johnny May as the other one there. Again, not even max speed. 97 on the wing. And at fullback is still Mike Brown. But he is only 82 rated overall. So, yeah, a bit of question marks going on. I can see why the back line isn't quite as high as the reserves in that little graph on the top left corner. Courtney Law's a 96. I mean, they're endowed with great talent in their forward pack, aren't they, England? Jamie George, a 91. I mean, this is where you got to question your starting lineups. The fact that Hartley is an 88 and starting, whereas Jamie George is a 91, yet he's on the bench. Cruz is there, George Cruz with a 93. These are big ratings. I mean, you could change this team a lot and make it a lot stronger. I mean, Ben Teo could go on the team. George would go on the team. Cruz and Laws possibly could as well. All four of these guys on the bench are in the 90s. Marla finally is it down with an 88. And then Anthony Watson puts it back into the 90s with a 91. I mean, he is a fullback, technically, in this game. But we know he can play wing just as comfortably. So you could put him in there for Mike Brown. You could put him in there for Johnny May. And you got a 90 rated player over an 82 or an 87. Nathan Hughes, 85. Denny Keir, 7. I think Denny Keir is massively underrated. Lazowski, an 89 at fly half, and this is in the bench. It is now in the bench. We've cracking down into some 80s now. A couple of them, Gens an 88. Ford's still in the 90s though. But you got to say overall, this team is very good. I don't think we've seen anyone apart from Denny Keir under an 80 rated score. Jack Clifford's in the 80s. Sinclair's an 89. I mean, Sinclair's a very young man and still in there. Marlon Yard. Now, a lot of talk about Marlon Yard already from the Aviva Premiership look. That he is heavily underrated as well. His speed is still 99 though, so it's hard to argue with that. Tom Wood rounds out an 86. And Sam Underhill an 81. Oh, they've only got 33 players. Well, there you go. England don't even have a full squad, although I still had 2 left to go. But overall, a very strong team here. You say a couple players unlucky to not have higher ratings, the likes of a Yard, and a few of them are a bit overrated. But again, we talk of consistency. Hartley an 88. George, what was he? A 91 off the top of my head. You got to question those consistencies and why they are that way. Who is really the best hooker in England? That is a big question, but not as bad as Australia, I don't think. England definitely players deserve a lot of the high ratings, and they've definitely got them throughout their whole squad. Is their reserve bench really good enough to get all these 90s and 80s, high 80s in the bench, not even playing reserves? That question could be asked. A lot of young guys, a lot of up-and-comers. Is Sinclair really an 89 rated player? Better than a Hartley, for example? Those are the questions that must be asked, but overall, you think England looks a bit better than Australia did, that's for sure. On to the third international side, and this one is going to get you guys talking. Fiji, 84 rated. Now, before you say anything about it, Australia's 86, Fiji's 84. I'll let you determine that one. France is only 84 as well. So Fiji and France, they're tight. They're dead even. I'm sure we'd see a really close game / a draw if those two sides meet tomorrow. But Fiji, 84 rated. Let's try and pronounce some names and have a look at their team. Okay, now first things first, don't get me wrong about Fiji. It is superb. It is great to have them in the game. So I'm not bringing down Fiji at all here whatsoever about the quality of their players or how good they are. But you got to question how they got a rating as good as, you know, France, who are a really good team, one of the best, you know, top team in the world on their day. I guess, like a lot of people said, it's based on how their recent performances have gone. They were terrible in Africa just recently, so maybe that's why France haven't got as good a rating as they possibly should have. But why are Fiji so good? Well, they've done nothing super special over recent time either. But let's have a look at their team. 84 rated, we've talked about already. Ravai's on the loose head side with an 81 rating. We've got Koto in the middle, a hooker with an 85, and Tawaki is on the tight head side with a 79. So a solid front row, but again, we compare back. These guys are quite highly rated just because they're international players. Kivabati's a 93, which he is a standout in their second row. Definitely one of the bigger names. We cracked down to 82. And the rest of the back row as well is in the 80s. But it's Yato who's a big standout here. The number 6 is a blindside flanker. I'd imagine he's normally an open side because they seem to get that always mixed up as well. 91 rating, which is really, really good. That's world class, isn't it? He's better than Burnet Foley. Yes, most people won't know who this man is, which is the big thing you got to question about these ratings. Into the back line, and Ben Volavola starting at 10, 88 rated, yet he can't crack Super Rugby at a consistent level, which makes you wonder why and how an 88 rated player would, you know, not get to that level. It makes it interesting if you had Super Rugby sides in this game, how they would compare, because I think most bench or reserve players of Super Rugby would be nowhere near an 88 rating like a Ben Volavola is. Into the rest of the backs, Tuisova. Now this man has had an outstanding last season, 87 rated. I'm kind of surprised it's not higher because he has been one of the players who have excelled recently as well. Into the rest of the back, and we've got a 94. That is a huge rating here for Vatubua. Inside centre, probably normally an outside centre because they always split those up as well. But 94, that is massive. That is world class. That is almost one of the best players on the game. And he plays for Fiji. Something's got to be wrong there. Vuli is an 86 rated, 32 years. This guy's only 26 as well. Oh man, he is insane. Patrick Osborne. Now, two things here about Paddy Osborne. No picture. He's been a Super Rugby player for years and years and years. How can they not have a picture of some description of Patrick Osborne? That's the bizarre first thing. And secondly, only 72 rated. That's comparatively to these other players, you've got to make him a bit better than that because he is just as good as all these other guys in this team. He's probably not a Tuisova level player, but definitely comparing to what else we've seen, he's better than a 72. And of course, Moody Valu at fullback at 86. I mean, compared to Patrick Osborne, you've got to say those two should be a bit closer. Masalevu is 88 on the reserves bench. For some reason, 16 always goes to a winger. We've got Dawai cracks in 87. That is really strange. We're going into the lower ones now, down to the 70s and the low 80s for the rest of this Fijian bench. Goodness me. Kempisi Matafu, 89. Well, why is he not starting? So he's popped into this team 89. So that's why we've got, again, another really strong substitute. Oh, Nicky Colobus here as well, 91. I mean, surely he'd start, wouldn't he? Where is he? In the centres or wings? Wow, he's better than anyone except to Vatubua. So why is he not in that starting team? What else have you got? Tony Bula, again, another one who should be starting. Definitely for this team. Oh, look at this. Botia, 91 rated centre. Goodness me, Fiji are just absolutely overwhelming with amazing players. Wait on, we're missing one man here. Nagusa, 79. Well, that's a bit surprised that he'd be better than that, but we're missing one. We've got Tikala Tuma there, 76. Matawalu, wow. Matawalu is 74 rated. And who was it up here? We seen, I've forgotten his name already. The other scrum half. Where is he? Where is he? He's gone. Oh, there he is. Tony Bula. That's the one I was trying to find. Is 90. And Matualu's a 74. I mean, this Fijian team is a bit ridiculous, isn't it? But there's still one man I have not seen. He's not there. He's not even there. Nemani Nadolo. Where is he? Where is Nemani Nadolo? He's not even in this team. He's not anywhere. That is probably the most iconic Fijian player, and he's not even in this side. That is a shock. And the thing is, you can't put him in the team either. No Nadolo in Fiji. But they do have Tikaratuma, who is average, and Matualu, who they've absolutely shafted here with a terrible rating. Fiji, I don't know how you've done it, but it's a great day for Fiji in rugby. This team is massively, massively overrated and missing possibly their biggest star as well. So we've already spoken about it. The fact that Fiji and France are both 84 rated and only 2 under Australia. Now, France being 2 under Australia, I can get with. That's fine with me, but not Fiji. And looking at that team, there are some serious issues there. But let's have a look at France. Not had the best recent results, but still a very, very good team on paper. Let's see how they rate up in Rugby 18. So after looking at that Fijian side, it kind of concerns me as to what we're going to see next from, you know, players that you would expect to be a lot better than the Fijian squad. But straight away we can see this front row. Slimani is the key with an 86. I mean, already Fiji's looking like the better team. Vaha Mahina only gets an 89. I mean, international experienced player, been there since a youngster, developed massively in his game, and Maestri as well, only an 85. Wow, there's no one in this whole forward pack that cracks the 90s apart from Louie Picker. That says something big time. Even Siren is only an 83, one of the best up-and-coming international players around the globe. Only manages an 83, yet these young guys from Fiji or wherever else are cracking 90s. That is a really bizarre one. Okay, this one gets me as well. We just looked at Ben Volavola, who rated an 88. Camilla Lopez only rates an 87. Now, if I was picking a world team and I had the option between Volavola and Lopez, I know you guys don't really need to be told this, but who the hell would you go for? I'd go for Lopez every day of the week. Much more experience, much more high level of play. Overall, just a lot better player than Ben Volavola, massively. Noah Nakatasi, an 85. And we saw those couple of Fijian wingers who were rated a lot higher than that. Yet, again, very, very similar players. Lamarat, an 88. Wesley Fofana, only an 85. For Wesley Fofana, that is terrible. They've really given some good players some crap overall ratings. Vakatawa, much like Nakatasi, very good island winger, 81 and 85. I mean, you've got to feel sorry here for the French. I think they have been really done. One player, oh, hang on, yeah, Bryce Doolin's only an 86. One player in this whole lineup that cracks 90, and it is Louie Picker, arguably, easily, I should say, their best player, no question about that. But compared to Fiji, who had all these guys in the 90s, who some of them I had hardly even heard of, and whereas these guys are international, competitive in the Six Nations, top-level players, not rated as high as Fijians who play Pacific Nations Cup, and maybe a couple of internationals a year, and then most of their rugby is played clubly around England and the Pro 12, Pro 14 as well. That's not the same level these guys are playing in. These guys should definitely be rated a lot higher than Fiji. Fiji should be a mid-70s team at best. Now, again, not hating on Fiji at all, but it's a consistency of how good these teams are. Fiji's just not a top-tier rugby team currently. They've got great players, they're building well, they're doing good, sure, but they're not as good as in Australia or France overall in their ratings, which is a big, big concern. Tronduk still on the side, he's 86 as well, so, I mean, Ben Volavola would walk into this French team based on these ratings. Choli an 85. I mean, we're still waiting for our second 90 rated player. Belarus only gets 82. Antonio an 83. Chat an 81. I mean, we're getting nothing here. Nothing at all. 85s are going through. 84s. 83s. It's getting worse. 85. Fiku and Gojon. Oh, no. Marchino's only an 83 as well. Scott Spinning is only an 86. What's going on here? Plasson, 86 as well. And Dusson down the bottom, an 84. France have one 90 rated player. Fiji, I'm not sure how many, but they had at least 3-4 90 rated players. That, to me, is a massive flaw. That when you create this game, you've got to look at balance. I've said balancing way too often here. But there are some serious problems with the fact that these Fijians can match Australia and France with ratings. One player over 90 in the whole French squad. I think the next highest was only an 87 as well. Could be wrong, could be an 89 or 2 in there. But still, the point remains, how does that happen? Okay, now we move on to Italy, and this looks a much better representation of the Italians. 75 rated. This is where Fiji should be sitting, around this Italy level. Like, they are a team that could beat Italy and give them a good run for their money. So I think this is where the Fijians should definitely be. But let's have a look at the the Italian squad, I should say. Got Fiji on the mind at the moment. Let's have a look at Italy. A couple players of note here, but you got to remember France with only one 90 rated player. What do the Italians offer? Okay, so we are definitely going down a notch or two here, going to Italy, and you can't get it off your mind that this is what we should have been looking at with Fiji. Ferrari, Galdini, and Lovotti, all in the mid-70s, 75, 73, 76. Then their second row, Biagi and Bud, 78, 76. You can't argue with these. And Banda, 72, Mintel 70, but I would give Sergio Parise a little bit more. Just because he's such a legend of Italian rugby, I would give him a 90 just for the sake of it, because of who he is, what he's done in Italian rugby, and just he's the icon. Kind of like that star player that teams have that just hold that side together like glue. I know it's Italy, it may make them overall 76 rated, but it is Sergio Parise. Eduardo Gori only gets a 70. I mean, I expected Italy to be low, but good players should be rewarded. Tommaso Allen gets a 76. Sato a 74. Campagnaro, already looked at, 75. Morossi a 70. Esposito a 70 as well. And Pedavani, the young fullback, is 69. Which, I mean, he hasn't had the greatest start to his international career, I guess you could say. But some very hard-hitting scores, for lack of a better word there, for the Italians. I mean, if we looked at this team first, you'd say, yeah, these are fair ratings. These are decent ratings that represent this Italian team pretty well. But when you compare to what the other sides have got, these are pretty hard-hitting. These are raw, but more accurate. I think this is probably the best-looking accurate side we've seen so far. Fuso is an 80, so he should be in the starting team straight away. Cittadini 76 as well. Giga 75, so still lots in the 70s. So Luke McLean, a legend again of Italian rugby, is 73. Venditti is 73 as well. Oh, we're dropping down big time now with some 66 rating to Pankio. What do we got with Bonnie is 70? So they've really fallen off the bridge here. 64s, 70s, 72s. Oh, Van Schalkwick's got a nice 79 there. You've got to give him credit. He should be up in that starting team with a rating like that. We're down the 60s. I mean, for Varo, 75. I mean, overall, that's probably where he should be. But players comparatively average or similar to him are rated a lot higher as well. Tabordi only a 75. Oh, 65. It's not even said. It's only 65. And Kana is an 81. So you got Wise and he in the starting team, 81 rated as well. The rest of the side, there's another 80. Well, they got more. Wow, they got heaps of players in this team. Another 80 rated in the second row there. Lazzaroni, I mean, that's 3 players in the 80s that should be in that starting team. Benvenuti's a 74. Anyone else of any interest here? McKinley's a 70. They've got 40 players. Well, they've got a really, really big team. Biggest of so far of the game that I've seen. But he could turn this Italian team into a lot better. But he's still not going to make them any better than a 75 rated squad. More accurate, but not in balance with the other teams in the game. So you could say you could get some international players here for a career mode pretty easily, like sort of Tibaldi, Benvenuti's, those sorts of guys, pretty easily, pretty cheaply as well. But this is good. I think this is a decent one for Italy, but it just makes the game look even worse with the balancing. Okay, so the defending world champions, back-to-back champions, 3-time World Cup winners, New Zealand. The All Blacks are next in line. Now, we had a bit of a look at their team in the going in blind because we played that match being the favourite team on the game. So let's have a look at their squad and let's compare to the other players, like the Fijians, and see how fairly rated the squad is. 94, they're the best international side in the game, so you've got to expect that should reflect in the player ratings. Okay, so we start off and you can see straight away that this is a different level to what we just seen. The whole forward pack is rated 90 plus bar 1 player, and I probably would suggest that there'll be another one in the reserves who would pop 90 as well to get that side fully a 90 pack. But Charlie Faumuina, Dane Coles and On Franks are the front row. Out of date, Faumuina is gone. So straight away, there's a mistake. 93, 96, 93. Brodie Retallick, fairly 97, but is he as good as Marco Vunipola? Alongside him is equally rated Sam Whitelock. Would you rate those two together as the same? That would be a tough one to really split those two, but I'd probably give Retallick a mark or two more just because of his influence on matches. Sam Cane, yep, I know, it's frustrating, isn't it? Is a 90 rated player. Liam Squire is the 88. Kieran Reid, 91 rated. Ooh, interesting, only 91. When you see all these other guys up there, 96, 94s, but Kieran Reid only manages a 91. Tawera Barlow, well, he's not even going to be here at the end of the season, is he? He's 93 rated, and I'd presume will be the best scrum half in the All Black squad. Beauden Barrett, I've seen as the best player on the game, and rightly so, given he is the World Player of the Year currently. So 98 rated Beauden Barrett sits at 10 fly half for the All Blacks. Julian Savea is still there, not even a current All Black at the moment. He's 93 rated. You got to say, is here like the impact rating? He's 95 for impact. Kieran Reid is 99 for impact. So there you go. Sonny Bill Williams is a 95. Anton Leonard-Brown is in the starting team. Where's Ryan Crotty? Anton Leonard-Brown is a 94. I think that's a bit too high, as is Sonny Bill Williams as well. As is Tawera Barlow. As is a lot of the side as well. Israel Dag, 88. So you give Anton Leonard-Brown a 94, but you give Israel Dag an 88, okay? And Ben Smith's off. Oh, that's it. Ben Smith's only an 87. That's it. That's cooked the goose right there. How are these two, even 3 mugs? You got to say these two. I mean, Savea in his day was one of the best in the world. But Anton Leonard-Brown, great player. Now, don't get me wrong there, fantastic. I think he is the future of the central position of the All Blacks midfield. But currently, he is not better than Ben Smith. Ben Smith is one of the all-round greats of current day rugby. 87, less than Israel Dag as well, which that's just insulting in the side. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible. Lima, oh, what? Lima Sopoaga, 94. No way! Lima Sopoaga is a 94 rated player. Barrett's a 98. No, that's terribly wrong. Joe Moody in 89. Joe Moody should be in that starting team instead of Faumuina, but it does drop it under the 90. But still, Moody is the incumbent, isn't he? He is the starting front rower, or one of the starting front rowers. If all Blacks were fit, he would be in that starting 15. Wyatt Crockett, same rating as Joe Moody. I can't get behind that one either. He's a good player to play that last little quarter of the match off the bench, but definitely not 89 rating, the same as Joe Moody. Nathan Harris, yeah, good player. 89, it's probably a little bit too high for him as well. Jerome Kaino, wow. He's the one I thought would be over 90 to replace Squire in that team. So Jerome Kaino only manages an 89. Aaron Smith is 88. Well, I've heard it all. I've heard it all. That's dreadful. That's just terrible, isn't it? So he had sex in a toilet, and now he's only an 88 rated player, and Tawera Kobalo is 90-something. Well, that is inaccurate. That is terribly inaccurate. I don't agree with this whatsoever. We've gone completely off it. Malachi Fekitoa doesn't even play here anymore again, and he's 92 rated. He's better than Ben Smith, Israel Dag, and not quite Julian Savia. Utter rubbish. That is crap. Artie Savia, 87. Not bad. Aaron Cruden, well, he's already gone, and he's 89 rated. Lima Sopoaga is 5 points better than Aaron Cruden. I don't think anyone is going to agree with that. Cruden was the cool, calm head, and we've even seen recently Sopoaga is a long way from becoming a world elite fly half player. Kody Taylor in 86, he's a good player off the bench. McKenzie in 84, we turned that around, the way he's played recently with a 48, but he is no, that was a bit harsh. He is a great player, probably a future star player, but currently, you got to say, is he only 3 points away from a Ben Smith? No, not a chance at all. Elliot Dixon, Southland representative, 87 rated, definitely not that good. Luke Romano in 85, Ofatuanga Fasi in 87. These guys are all massively inflated. There's Patrick Tuipulotu, 94. No way. He's nowhere 94. Ryan Crotty in 90. Wow. So Ryan Crotty is not as good as Sonny Bill Williams, Anton Leonard-Brown, Julius Savia, who else did I say? Patrick Tuipulotu, Malachi Fekitoa. Ryan Crotty is the glue of the All Black backline. That man is out, that game changes. Ryan Crotty is a massive piece. If you envision a puzzle, Ryan Crotty is a big piece in the middle. Everyone else has little links around the outside, especially in that backline. He is a huge part, and I would swap him and Anton Leonard-Brown around. Definitely 94 for Crotty. He is massive. Seta Tamani Valu, 88. No, definitely not an 88 at all. TJ Perenara at 87. Now I'd put Perenara up a bit with, well, I mean, he's not one mark short of Aaron Smith, is he? He's definitely right up there with what a Kurabalo would be, but he's massively overrated. Waisaki Naholo, 89, does have 100 speed. Fair enough on there. Scott Barrett, 87. Matt Todd, 88. Geordie Barrett is 78. And the All Blacks have got way over 35 players as well. Geordie Barrett, again, a bit like McKenzie. Definitely, well, that's probably fair enough for Geordie Barrett, but he's definitely not like McKenzie was in the 80s. I think those two guys have both got a lot to develop into. Just 20 years old. I mean, this kid is going to be one of the world elites, but he's not yet, is he? And fair enough, he should be down in the 80s. James Parsons, I'm not even going to comment on that one. And I think that, no, there's still more. There's, oh, of course, Rieko Ioane. Breakout star, all contender of the year. 81 rated. Same as James Parsons, who's played one test and been shafted out of the team. No way. There's no way that that is accurate at all. Rieko Ioane is probably one of the great future stars and has already proven this season how good he really is. 81 is a bit harsh given what the rest of these players are. Some have to go down massively, like Seta Tamani Valu should be down in the 70s. Rieko Ioane should be, I'd say, a mid-80s player, but given the way that Tui Pelota was a 94, and he hasn't even hardly been in the All Blacks in the last season, that's just where this doesn't make sense. We've still got Vaya Fafita. I mean, he was fantastic when he played, sure, but is he an 86 rated? That is a top shelf international player. It's not the world's best, but getting up towards a 90 is a really, really good, consistent international player. Vaya Fafita is not that. There's still more. There's 41, Liam Coleman. And there's more. 86 for Liam Coleman. Oh, I've seen enough. George Milo, this is going to be icing on the cake, isn't it? 83. No, that's just complete bullshit. Finally, it's finished. Get the pain over with. I thought the All Blacks team might be an easy one to do. That is just... Oh. terrible. It is, the words can't explain. George Moala in 83. That is not good. That is not good, my friends, at all. This All Blacks team is dreadful. Moala, a better player than Rieko Ioane. A better player than half of the starting team as well. Oh, and Moala has not played in the All Blacks for, well, at least a year as well. Big question marks here over these ratings. The more I read, the worse they get. Let's move on. I've seen enough. The pain... The pain is truly rich on this one. Okay, we've got 3 teams to go. We've got Scotland, who, remember this, they're 86 rated. So are Australia. What have Scotland got to offer? Let's have a look. Oh, I don't know if we can really go on with all these. These are terrible. They're just going to make me so angry reading these ratings and seeing how bad they are. Ferguson, 85 rated. Ford, 87. Nell is just 64. Okay, consistency well and truly at the best of its work there. The 2 Gray brothers, 94 for Richie and 89 for Johnny Gray. John Barkley's 87, Watson 86, Hardy at 83. Hardy's not a number 8 at all. You've got to say you'd do something like that, wouldn't you, if you're going to be looking at the team. Those 2 could probably swap around if you really needed it to. I know, I'll just change everything now because it's getting annoying. Greg Laidlaw, an 88 rated scrum half. I can live with that, but I don't know if I can live with this one. Finn Russell, superb little player, great up-and-coming rugby star for Scotland, but 2 points being of the best player in the game, no way. No way at all. Let's go through the rest of them. Tim Visser, 85, Dunbar, an 88, Hugh Jones, 84. These guys are really good, aren't they? Tommy Seymour, an 86, Stuart Hogg, an 88. So, okay, let's talk about the Lions for a second here. Stuart Hogg played for the Lions in 2017. Finn Russell was called up late to the Lions in 2017. So, since being called for Stuart Hogg, 88 rated, should mean that Tommy Seymour would be close. Alex Dunbar should be a certainty. Finn Russell and Greg Laidlaw should definitely be there, even though they're both called up relatively late. Barclay's definitely in the chance. Johnny Gray or Richie Gray both would have been full-time starters. I mean, that's what I mean. It's like, it just doesn't make sense at all that these guys are rated this good comparatively to guys that should be rated a lot better. Stuart Hogg is one of the best fullbacks in the world. He does hold the Scotland team together, but he's only 88. You'd say, certainly given the fact that Finn Russell was 96, Stuart Hogg should be a bit better than 88. Let's go into the reserves. Fraser Brown's 85. Sean Maitland, it's a 90. Stuart Hogg, they're making you look terribly bad. Dallin 84, Swinson 82. We're going to the 70s with Price. Scott's in the 80s. Duncan Taylor's in the 80s. Harley's in the 80s. Jackson's in the 80s as well. Oh dear. Right, what else you got? Reed. Progos is 80. Reed's 86. Oh, I don't understand. Josh Strauss 85. Bennett's is 79 as well. Wilson's 83. Alex Allen. Ben Toolis is 87. I mean, Locke is hard to get into because you've got those 2 really good ones already at the Greys. You've got some 80, mid-80s. Nothing special here because 80 is normal. Peter Horn rounds it out for 78. Scotland, you've done injustice here to good players, I think, by giving not as good players really good ratings. I mean, form is temporary. Class is permanent. Just because they had a good last 6 months, it doesn't mean that they're as good as a world-class player who's been doing it season after season. We've seen it time and time again. Club level doesn't transpire to being really good at international level. We've seen, just example, with the Scotland team, Stuart Hogg has been doing the job for years. I mean, he's years been the best player in Scotland, and he's been like one of the best fullbacks in the world as well. Have we seen the same from half these other guys? I mean, like we just seen at the bottom of the list there, down there, Peter Horn, 78, of course, nowhere near it, but like Ryan Wilson's 83, he's almost as good. Hoyland there, 86, he's only 23 years old, he can't have been doing it for years and years, yet he's almost rated as good as Stuart Hogg. I'll stop there, because I'll be going on forever. That's Scotland. We've got 2 to go. Let's take a look. Okay, penultimate team, we have South Africa, who was rated 2 higher than Australia, yet didn't beat them this year, had 2 draws. So 88 rated, they just nudge out the likes of Fiji and France. Oh my God. Let's take a look at their squad and see who's been absolutely kicked in the teeth in this team. Okay, so their front row doesn't quite match up as good as the All Blacks. Tendai Tawera gets a 90. He's the only one in the front row with Malcolm Marx an 89 and Franz Maholba getting an 86. Eminent to the Beef, almost best player on the game with a 96, and Mostert with a 93. I mean, Mostert's a good player, but he hasn't been around that long on the international scene. Does he deserve a rating that's good? Maholja gets an 89, alongside him Khaleesi an 86. I think those are fair ratings, with Warren Whiteley cracking the 90s into 92. Ross Cronje, and here's a laugh for you, Elton Yantes. Great player, but is he really that top level great player? 95, he's only 3 points off Beauden Barrett, yet there's a bit of a gulf in class there between the two of them. Poor old Elton, great rating for him, but I would not give him that high. Skozan gets an 86. And he's only 88 speed, whereas he's probably one of the fastest men around, especially in Southern Hemisphere rugby. Courtnell Skozan. Jesse Creel gets an 89, alongside him Sir Fontaine an 84. Yeah, it would be fair enough on a normal given day, but given that today is Rugby 18, those are probably a bit low in comparison to others. Raymond Rule, 83. And only 85 speed. What's his tackling? Because we learned pretty quickly he can't do any of that. 80. Should probably be about 64, I'd imagine. And Kutsia only grabs an 82. South Africa's getting pretty low ratings here. Kitshoff's got a 93. He's ridiculously high rated. Francois Hawkeye, we've talked about him, 91. Yeah, that's fair enough. He's a great little player. Peter Steph Detroit, 92. He's been doing it a few years, but 92. I mean, 90 to me means world elite. Francois Steyn, 93. Okay, so still got Steyn in here. Jean-Luc Dupré is 88. Oh, we've got Mbanambi is an 86. And Oosthuizen is an 82. So that chops off pretty rapidly there. But, I mean, Detoy and Steyn, 92, 93. Alongside Kitshoff as well for 93. Interesting. Dylan Lades. Poor old Dylan Lades only picks up at 75. Damon D'Allende picks up at 89. That's alright for D'Allende. Dane Vermeulen hasn't played for Springboks for ages. Gets a 90, but he is up there as one of the best players at number 8 in his day. Jaco Creel, 89. Mapu an 88. Van Rensburg, here we go. The young superstar, an 85. A given day, I'd say that's good, but not today. Because, again, balancing comparisons to others, he's a lot better player than other players that have got a lot higher ratings. Page gets, there we go. Rudy Page gets an 89, but he's nowhere near there. Kazim an 83. Ralapelli an 83 as well. Luke Diego an 87. Would you argue he's better than Peter Steph Detroit? That's one for you guys to debate. Drea gets an 84. Gets a 79. Gulbaka gets an 81 as well, and that's all they've got, just 35. So actually, someone stuck to the rules. Well done, South Africa. Again, yeah, the more I look at these ratings, the more players I see, the worse they get. The consistencies are just woefully off. You got to say, some players are hard done by. Some players, again, should be very, very happy. Just like the front rowers. They've got amazing ratings this year. Okay, as per usual, we've probably gone on far too long, but we're on our last team. It is Wales, who is also 86 rated, so the same as Scotland, 2 down from Africa, and the same as Australia are Wales. So we're probably going to see more dreadful stuff. I'll try not to dwell on it too long. Let's have a look. So it's one of the rare teams that actually have a substitutes graph that is a lot lower than their forwards and backs, which is good to see because their best players are obviously in their starting team, which is the way it should be. Tom Francis grabs an 80, which is pretty low for a prop on Rugby 18. 93 for Ken Owens, and wow, poor old Rob Evans has been absolutely smashed down to a 76. Elwyn Jones picks up a 94, Jake Ball only an 82. Their back row you'd expect to be good with Tipperick, Moriarty and Warburton. Just Warburton going down under the 90s, with Moriarty and Tipperick both over 91 and 93 respectively. So you'd give Warburton, wouldn't you, the 91? Generally over like 93 for Tipperick, probably go the other way. Yeah, a bit of an odd one there between those three. Reese Webb 89, Dan Bigger 96. Oh, come on. Dan Bigger's not a 96 rated player. No way. He's got a good kicking game, but he lacks pretty much anything else. Even compared to Finn Russell. Let alone Beauden Barrett or Burnet Foley, who was only 90. That is a gift. And we talked about George North already being 94. Jonathan Davis and Scott Williams is only an 84. Which is probably fair enough, actually. Liam Williams is an 88. So Liam Williams is probably one of the better players in the Welsh backline currently. Yet he doesn't even crack the 90. And Lee Halfpenny, how is he still there? And how is he still an 89 rated player? George North has got a lot of reputation to get himself up to that way. Philau wasn't even in the starting lineup, but didn't even notice 91. That leaves no place for Sam Warburton in the team. Another Samuel Davis, he's 83. Baldwin 81. So we're dropping down. Samson Lee, goodness, and Nicky Smith really falling through the floor. And Jamie Roberts, only 76. I know he's a bit older now, and the Liam Williams appearing and the Scott Williams appearing kind of have made this job a bit harder. But I mean, the Robert and Davis combination was the iconic combination in Welsh rugby. Gareth Davis has gone way down to a 63. Owen Williams an 81. I just can't explain. I can't explain that. And it just, what do you do here? You just, the ratings are just so inconsistent. Alex Cuthbert is 73, probably where he should be. But again, compared to what else is here, he probably could feel a bit hard done by. Corey Hill in the 70s as well, but we're going down. Alan Davis as well, 80 rated for the scrum half. I don't understand. I don't understand. Hewitt's a 64, so going down. And Kirsten Darcy, 80 as well. Got a couple of 70s. Scott Andrews, is that the last one? No, we got one more. Cracknell with the 65. I'm out of reason. Internationally should always be a step up. International players at club level should always be a noticeable difference. But they're not. And they just don't seem to reflect their position in world rugby at this current time, which is just bizarre and just strange. Now, I know a lot of time and effort was put into these ratings, and there was a lot of, what would you call it, work done to get them as they've played over the last season or so, the last few seasons. But it just doesn't leave you with a good sense of players as good as they are, does it? When you've got some who have, sure, maybe had a good few weeks, a good few months, just getting better rated than a player who's been out of form for half a season, but is still one of the world's greatest. And sure, when they maybe come and pull on that top-level jersey, they transform like a Ma'anonu. There's world-class players, and there's just class players, and then there's just club players. A lot of players have got massively good ratings here internationally. And some others have been dumped in it big time. I have raged on a bit too much about the sides and about the ratings, but let me know what your thoughts are. I know a lot of you do agree with what we see in the Aviva Premiership, how many players are there that are gone, how many players are playing the wrong positions, how many players are too low or too high. Nobody's getting high ratings, and class players getting quite low ratings. And just the consistencies of not the greatest players being in the 90s, and then decent internationally proven players getting in the low 80s. Doesn't make much sense, but that is why we're having a look through, so you guys can judge whether you think this game is worth buying, is worth your time and effort. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I'm doing for you guys as well. So I hope this has answered a few of your questions, and I hope you all enjoyed watching through and have raged along with me equally about what the hell is going on. There's some terrible ones. Let me know what you think is the worst. And leave in the comments, and I'll see you all very, very soon for more Rugby 18 content. We've still got the 214s, the Pro on the top. We're doing them very, very soon as well, so stay tuned for those. But for today, that is it. I'll see you all next time. Until then, take care.